On a quiet, misty morning, Martin knocked on another door. The streets were eerily silent, and the houses, rows upon rows of aging bricks and creeping ivy, looked like they hadn't seen life in years. He had been on his mission for months now, traveling from town to town, offering the word of God to anyone who would listen. He believed he was doing good, spreading light in places that needed it. As he walked, his boots crunching on the gravel, Martin saw something unusual. An old house at the end of the street, its windows darkened, its door hanging slightly ajar. The house was smaller than the others, with peeling paint and vines crawling up its stone walls. But what caught his attention was the figure standing at the front door. A little girl, no older than 7 or 8, stood there. Her long hair was tangled and wild, her eyes wide and unblinking. She didn't smile or wave, she just stood there, staring at him. Martin approached slowly, his heart skipping a beat. It wasn't common to see children alone, especially in such an isolated area. Something about the house felt wrong, but he pushed that feeling aside. He was here to help. "Hello there," Martin said, trying to sound warm and welcoming. "Are you okay, little one? Where are your parents?" The girl didn't respond. She didn't move, just continued staring at him with those hollow eyes. Martin took a step closer, his voice growing more concerned. "Are you lost? Do you need help?" Still, no answer, but then something strange happened. The girl's face twitched slightly, and before Martin could speak again, a thin trickle of blood began to run from her nose. It was slow at first, a small drip, but then it came faster, dripping onto the porch beneath her feet. Her expression didn't change. She didn't even seem to notice. Panic surged through Martin. He instinctively reached out toward her. "You need to go inside. Let me help you," he said, his voice shaking. The girl finally blinked, and for the first time she spoke, her voice a soft, almost ethereal whisper.
"Come inside. You'll be safe here."
There was something in her voice that made Martin hesitate, a coldness that sent a chill through his bones. But his concern for the child overpowered his fear. He glanced around. No one was in sight. He had to help her. "Let's get you inside and clean up that nosebleed," Martin suggested. The girl stepped aside, allowing him to pass, and Martin followed her into the house. The moment he crossed the threshold, the air shifted. The temperature dropped, and the floorboards creaked beneath his weight. It was dark inside, the curtains drawn tight, blocking out the outside light. The house smelled of decay, dust, and something else, something faintly metallic. "Where are your parents?" Martin asked again, but the girl didn't respond. She led him down a narrow hallway that seemed to stretch on forever, the rooms on either side filled with shadows that danced like ghosts. The girl stopped in front of a door at the end of the hall. She turned to him, her eyes wide and still unblinking.
"You'll stay with me now,"
she said, her voice cold and distant. Before Martin could protest, the door creaked open on its own. He stepped inside, only to find the room filled with dozens of other children. They stood in silence, their eyes hollow, just like the girl's. Each of them stared at him, unmoving, like statues. His heart pounded in his chest. "What is this? Where am I? Who are these children?" The girl didn't answer. She just stood in the doorway, her eyes now gleaming with something dark. The others began to move slowly, circling around Martin, their faces pale, their noses dripping with blood. His stomach churned and his breath quickened. No, this isn't right. This isn't real." The door slammed shut behind him, and the room seemed to close in. The children began to whisper in unison, their voices a low murmur, as though chanting something from an ancient, forgotten language.
"You're one of us now,"
the girl said, her voice echoing around him.
"We all stay here, forever."
"No, please," he screamed, struggling against them. "I just wanted to help, But it was too late. The house had claimed him. The moment he stepped inside, he had become another lost soul, another soul the girl had collected. The blood from her nose continued to drip, staining the floor beneath her as she turned and walked away, leaving Martin to join the others. Outside, the wind howled, and the street was silent once again. The house at the end of the road remained, waiting for the next lost soul to knock. And the girl? She would be waiting, her eyes wide and unblinking, ready to collect another one.